Good morning. It is Sunday, November 1st, 2020. You can now relax and be informed. Here is your daily bite of news. Starting Monday, people going to bars and restaurants in Michigan will be required to give their name and phone number in order to dine in. Scott Ellis, executive director of Michigan's Licensing Beverage Association, said, "Our frontline workers and servers already have trouble dealing with mandates. Now we have to gather someone's personal info. I think when you're going to sit down at a restaurant, you just don't expect someone to take your name and phone number because you're coming to have a drink and a burger." Establishments will be fined $1,000 for not complying to follow the order. Governor Cuomo announced a new rule on Saturday that will require people coming to New York to test negative for COVID-19 at least 3 days before arrival. Once they reach the state, travelers must quarantine for 3 days and then retest on the 4th day to ensure they are virus-free. But travelers who return to New York City after less than 24 hours will not need to take a test before coming back in order to not inconvenience commuting workers. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced a November month-long lockdown for England. All non-essential businesses will be closed. Residents can leave their houses for essential reasons like work, shopping, and exercise. Pubs, bars, and restaurants will be closed to dine in, but may provide takeaway services. This time around, schools and universities will be allowed to remain open. This new lockdown is due to experts showing projections that the peak over the winter would be at least double what it was this past spring without taking such measures. France imposed a lockdown Friday, and Germany has also instituted a month-long lockdown. An American hostage in Nigeria, Philip Walton, age 27, was rescued in a daring raid by SEAL Team 6 elite commandos. Without suffering any casualties, they rescued him after killing a number of his captives. They had held Philip hostage for a week after kidnapping him in Niger, where he lived. Sean Connery, a famous and well-respected actor, died at age 90 in the Bahamas on Saturday in his sleep. A Scot from Edinburgh, Sean Connery was famed for being Hollywood's original James Bond 007 character and was a top box office star in America and Britain for roles in many other genres and movies. People magazine voted him sexiest man alive, and he was known for his charm and magnetism. But he was also known for being darker and more complex off-screen, often suing anyone he thought was taking advantage of him. What he called his violent side, he says, may have been ammunitioned by his rough and poor childhood. He leaves behind a wife, son, and a stepson. In 2000, Mr. Connery was knighted in Edinburgh by Queen Elizabeth II. Fortress Investments Group is postponing its plan to build a bullet high-speed train from Las Vegas to Southern California after failing to sell a record amount of unrated municipal debt to finance the speculative project, showing the current limits of investor appetite amid the economic downturn. The project is postponed until market liquidity improves and until California and Nevada will allow Fortress to request bond sales again. Millions of Colombians can no longer afford to feed themselves properly after lockdown measures devastated their economy. In Cartagena on the Caribbean coast, only 41% out of the original 82% of households are eating 3 meals a day. Donald Trump has declared November 1st to be marked nationwide as a National Day of Remembrance for Americans killed by illegal aliens. President Trump also announced Friday that Thailand's duty-free privileges for some $817 million in exports will be revoked starting December 30th, citing a lack of progress in opening Thai markets to U.S. pork products. The privileges had been in place since the 1970s. The first drug to potentially halt Alzheimer's, called aducanumab, could be available to Britons in another year. Trials of the drug showed patients had improvements in language skills along with a slower loss of memory. Scientists hope the new treatment, which works to untangle clumps of plaque that build up in the brain, could be the first to halt the disease progression. Well, that's all for today's news. If you would like to read up on any of these topics, please see our description below for our sources. Subscribe to receive a daily news update. Thank you for listening. Be relaxed, be informed, be connected.